The red Alatetha space station of the Valorian Union was calm and quiet. Blue lights moved slowly across metal walls. Alien officers worked in silence, checking screens and data. It was a normal cycle in deep space. Suddenly, a sharp alarm screamed through the command hall. Red lights flashed from wall to wall. The calm was broken in 1 second. Officers jumped from their seats. A loud voice echoed, "Red alert, red alert, unknown object detected." The main screen changed. A single red mark appeared on the sensor map. It was far away, but moving fast, too fast. Commander Threx stepped forward. His eyes narrow, show details. He ordered. The data scrolled fast. Speed numbers climbed higher and higher. One officer swallowed hard. "Commander, this speed is not normal." The object was not slowing down. It was not changing direction. It was coming straight toward the station. "Is it a fleet?" Threx asked. "No, sir," the officer replied. "Only one ship." The room went quiet. One ship could not cause panic, but something felt wrong. The sensor officer spoke again. "Size is large, very large, larger than most cruisers." Threx clenched his claws. One ship moving at full attack speed. Who would be so foolish? Another officer checked the database. The screen blinked and showed a name. The officer froze. "Commander, it is human." A low murmur spread across the hall. Humans were known across the galaxy. They were emotional, loud, and fragile. They talked about peace and freedom. They lost wars. They lost worlds. Humans, Threx said with surprise. "They dared to come here with one ship." The officer nodded. Ship class identified. Human battlecruiser. That made no sense. Human ships usually traveled in groups. They avoided direct fights. They survived by retreat. The sensor beeped again, louder this time. "Commander, no escort ships detected. No drones, no support. Just one human warship, charging forward like a wild beast." Threx felt a strange cold feeling. "Open communication channel," he ordered. The officer tried. No response. He tried again. Still nothing. "They are not answering," the officer said. "They are running silent." That silence was worse than any threat. No warning, no demand, no signal, only speed. The battlecruiser grew larger on the screen. Its shape was rough and heavy. Scars and burn marks covered its armor. This was not a new ship. This was a survivor. Weapons, systems on the station powered up. Defense fleets prepared to launch. Yet fear spread through the command hall. Threx stared at the screen. Humans should not act like this. Humans should be afraid. Humans should run. But this ship was not running. It was hunting. An officer whispered, "Commander, why would humans send one ship?" Threx did not answer. He already knew the truth. This was not a scout. This was not a warning. This was a message. The alarm screamed louder. Red lights burned like blood. And as the human battlecruiser closed the distance, one thought echoed in every alien mind. This is not a retreat ship. This is a warship. Who are humans really? The command hall stayed silent for a long moment. Only the red lights and alarms filled the space. Commander Threx slowly turned away from the main screen. His mind searched old records and old wars. Humans were not supposed to cause fear. Long ago, the Valorian Union had fought humans. It was not a long war. It was not a hard war. At least that was what the records said. Humans lost planets. Humans signed treaties. Humans retreated deeper into their space. They cried. They protested. They survived. They are weak. Many alien leaders said in the past. They feel too much. They fear death. Threx remembered those words clearly. Humans were builders, traders, dreamers, not conquerors. An officer stepped forward. "Commander, human military history shows poor success. They avoid direct conflict. They rely on diplomacy." Another officer added, "They surrender when losses rise." The words should have been comforting, but they were not. Threx looked back at the screen. The human battlecruiser was still coming. Still silent, still fast. "If they fear death," Threx said slowly, "why are they charging toward it?" No one answered. A data analyst began pulling deeper files. Old war footage appeared. Human cities burning. Human ships breaking apart. "They lost badly," the analyst said. "They should remember this pain." Threx leaned closer. Scroll further. The screen changed. The tone of the records shifted. Footage showed humans fighting when surrounded, when escape was impossible. "They fight harder when trapped," the analyst said quietly. "They become unpredictable." Images showed damaged human ships ramming enemies, soldiers refusing retreat orders, civilians joining defense lines. These events were marked as rare. The analyst continued. But the pattern is clear. Threx felt the cold feeling return. When humans have nothing left, he said, they stop caring about survival. The human ship crossed another sensor line. Weapons range was getting closer. An officer checked communications again. Still no message, no threats, no demands. That silence pressed on every mind. A normal attacker would talk. A normal enemy would boast. Humans were doing neither. Commander, an officer said nervously. Why only one ship? Threx stared at the screen. Because numbers did not matter. Because fear was the weapon. This ship is not here to negotiate, Threx said. It is here to remind us. The database flashed one final detail. Ship status, heavily damaged, repaired many times. This ship has survived many battles. An officer whispered. Threx nodded slowly. A wounded predator is more dangerous. The alarms lowered in tone. Defense fleets were ready. Weapons were charged. Yet something deep inside the command hall had changed. This was no longer a simple defense alert. This was history repeating in a new way. Threx spoke to the room. Humans are not strong. They are not fast. They are not perfect. He paused. But when pushed too far, they do not stop. The human battlecruiser entered firing distance. Still no message. Still no hesitation. Only forward motion. And in that moment, the Valorian Union began to understand one truth. Humans were not dangerous because they were powerful. Humans were dangerous because they refused to quit. The human BATTLCRISR inside the human battlecruiser. There was no panic, no shouting, no fear. The ship moved through space at full speed. Its engines burned bright and steady. The metal walls shook slightly, but the crew stayed calm. Captain Elias Ward stood on the command deck. His face was tired but focused. Scars marked the walls around him. This ship had seen many fights. Crew members worked at their stations. Hands moved fast. Eyes stayed sharp. They had trained for moments like this. Status, the captain said. His voice was calm and low. Shields at 70%. An officer replied, hull damage stable. Engines holding. The captain nodded. 70% was enough. This battlecruiser was old. It was built many wars ago. New ships were faster, cleaner, more advanced. But this ship was different. It had been upgraded again and again. Layer over layer of human work. Simple systems. Strong armor. The name of the ship was painted on its side. HFS Resolute. It was not famous. It was not beautiful. But it never turned back. A young crew member glanced at the main screen. Alien fleets filled the distance. Weapons ready. Waiting. Sir, the officer asked. No support ships coming. Captain Ward did not turn. I know, he said. The mission was never about numbers. It was about timing. The crew trusted their captain. They did not ask questions. They already knew why they were here. Months ago, a human colony had gone silent. No calls, no ships returning. Only debris. The galaxy moved on, but humans did not forget. The captain looked at a small image near his console. A planet, blue and green, now gone. Target in range soon. The weapons officer said. Captain Ward took a deep breath. Remember, he said, we do not fire first. The crew understood. This was not revenge. This was a statement. The ship shook as it crossed into enemy weapons range. Alarms blinked softly, controlled, measured. Alien sensors locked onto the Resolute. Missiles prepared. Energy weapons charged. Still, the human ship did not slow down. It moved closer, straight forward. One officer frowned. Sir, alien fleets are ready. Captain Ward finally turned. His eyes were steady. They were afraid, he said. The officer hesitated. Of one ship. Captain Ward allowed a small smile. Of what one ship means. The Resolute adjusted its course slightly, not to escape, but to aim. Weapons systems came online, old but reliable, simple but deadly. The crew waited, hands ready, breaths slow. The captain placed his hand on the command rail. This ship carried more than weapons. It carried memory, loss, and promise. A signal light blinked. Alien fleets were locking firing solutions. Hold, Captain Ward said. The ship moved closer still, ignoring danger, ignoring logic. This was what humans did when pushed too far. They stepped forward, not back, and as the human battlecruiser closed the final distance, one truth was clear inside the Resolute. They were not here to survive. They were here to be remembered. The battle BGINS, the first alien weapon fired without warning. A bright beam cut through the dark of space. It struck the human battlecruiser hard. The Resolute shook. Metal screamed, lights flickered, shields down to 50%. An officer reported, damage to outer hull. Captain Ward did not move. Hold course, he said. More alien weapons followed. Energy blasts and missiles filled the space around the ship. Explosions flashed like stars. The human ship pushed forward, shields glowing under pressure, armor burning. Alien commanders watched in shock. The ship should have turned. It should have tried to escape, but it did not. Why is it not retreating? An alien officer shouted. On the Resolute, alarms rang louder. Smoke filled one corridor. Crews sealed the breach fast. Engine 2 damaged. Power rerouted. Captain Ward stayed calm. Keep moving. The human ship crossed into close combat range. Too close for comfort. Too close for safe firing. Now, Captain Ward said. Human weapons came alive. Rail cannons fired with deep thunder. Simple metal rounds flew at extreme speed. One alien cruiser was hit. Its shields failed. Its hull broke apart. A second ship took damage. Systems went dark. Alien fleets panicked. This was not advanced technology. This was raw force. Missiles launched from the Resolute. Not many, but each one found its target. Explosions rippled through alien lines. Ships broke formation. Fear spread. On the alien command station, Commander Threx watched in disbelief. One ship, he whispered. The human ship burned under constant fire. Shields fell to 30%. Hull damage increased. Captain, we cannot hold much longer, an officer warned. Captain Ward nodded. I know. The Resolute moved even closer. Ignoring damage, ignoring reason, alien weapons hesitated. Firing stopped in some sectors. Crews questioned orders. This makes no sense, an alien officer said. They should be dead. The human ship rammed through debris. Sparks and fire followed its path. A massive alien battleship appeared ahead, blocking the way. Captain Ward stared at it. Perfect, he said. The Resolute adjusted its course. Straight toward the larger ship. Sir, an officer said carefully. Collision risk. Captain Ward did not look away. Then they will move. Alien commanders shouted orders. Weapons charged again, but hesitation slowed them. The human ship fired everything it had. Cannons, missiles, energy bursts. The alien battleship reeled. Its shields cracked. The Resolute passed close enough to scrape armor, close enough to show scars and burns. For one brief moment, alien crews saw the human ship clearly. Damaged, old, still charging. Fear replaced confidence. Why would they do this? An alien officer cried. Because this was not about winning. It was about sending a message. As the human battlecruiser broke through the enemy line, alarms blared across alien fleets. Commander Threx understood too late. This was not an attack meant to destroy. This was a warning written in fire. The message of Humanity. The battlefield slowly fell silent. Burning ships drifted through space. Broken armor and debris filled the void. The human battlecruiser Resolute moved forward. Its engines were damaged. Its hull was torn and blackened, but it was still alive. Inside the alien command station, fear ruled the room. Commander Threx stared at the main screen. This single human ship had changed everything. Alien fleets pulled back, not running, but no longer advancing. Weapons stayed locked. Yet no one wanted to fire. The Resolute slowed for the first time. It stopped between the alien fleets and the station, like a wall. Inside the human ship, smoke filled the air. Crew members were injured. Systems were failing, but discipline held. Communication channel open, an officer said. They are requesting contact. Captain Elias Ward stood straight. He adjusted his uniform. Simple, worn, human. Send it, he said. For the first time, a human signal crossed open space, clear, calm, and direct. Commander Threx listened as the message played. This is Captain Elias Ward of the human fleet. We did not come to conquer. We did not come to take. The human voice was steady. No anger, no shouting. You attacked our colonies. You erased our people. You thought we would stay silent. The alien command hall was completely still. We tried peace. We tried talks. We tried patience. The message paused for a moment. But humans do not forget. Captain Ward continued. When pushed into a corner, when left with nothing, we move forward. The Resolute drifted closer. Weapons still powered. Ready. This ship came alone. Not because we are weak, but because one ship was enough. Alien officers lowered their eyes. This is your warning. Do not test us again. The message ended. No threat, no demand, only truth. Commander Threx felt something new. Not hatred, not anger, respect. He turned to his officers. "Mark humanity," he ordered. A data officer hesitated. "Threat level." Threx answered without pause. "Extreme, high risk." Across alien databases, a new label appeared. "Humans do not corner." On the Resolute, the crew released slow breaths. They had done their job. "Captain," an officer said softly, "we cannot survive another fight." Captain Ward nodded. "We are done here." The human ship turned away. Slow, damaged, but unbroken. Alien fleets did not follow. No weapons fired, no pursuit. They watched as the human battlecruiser vanished into the stars. Long after the battle, alien leaders would speak of this day, of one ship, of silent courage. They would remember one lesson. Humans were not the strongest, they were not the fastest. But when humanity chose to stand, the galaxy listened. The AFTR Mattis, the galaxy did not forget the day the human ship arrived. Stories spread faster than any signal, from trade lanes to war councils. Alien leaders replayed the battle again and again. One ship, no fleet, no allies. The name Resolute appeared in reports, marked in red, flagged as dangerous. At the Valorian command station, repairs were still ongoing. Walls were burned, systems damaged, confidence broken. Commander Threx stood alone before the main screen. He watched the last known path of the human ship. It disappeared into deep space. They should be destroyed, one advisor said earlier, but they were not. Threx remembered the silence of that ship. No threats, no fear, only purpose. Across the galaxy, military databases were updated. Human tactics were reclassified. Human psychology was rewritten. Old notes saying emotional and weak were removed. New words replaced them. Persistent, unyielding, dangerous when cornered. On a distant human world, the Resolute returned home, its hull barely holding together, its engines coughing and weak. Dock crews rushed forward. Medical teams waited. Families watched in silence. The ship landed without celebration. No music, no speeches. Captain Elias Ward walked off the ship slowly. Injured, tired, alive. Officials asked questions. Reports were written. Warnings were sent. But no grand victory was claimed. Humans did not boast. They never did. Among the crew, there was quiet pride. They had stood where others ran. They had spoken when words failed. News reached human colonies. Children listened. Workers paused. One ship, one stand. Hope returned where fear once lived. In alien space, borders shifted. Fleets avoided human regions. Patrol routes changed. Trade guilds warned captains, "Do not provoke humans." Pirate clans learned quickly. Human convoys were no longer easy prey. The message of the Resolute echoed without words. Human space was not empty. It was guarded. Commander Threx addressed the Valorian Council weeks later. His voice was firm, clear. "We misjudged them," he said. "They do not seek war, but they do not fear it." Some argued. Some resisted, but none forgot the burning wrecks. None forgot the silent ship. New treaties were discussed. Borders respected. Silence maintained. Far from politics and war rooms, Captain Ward stood under an open sky. Stars above him, he knew the galaxy was watching now. Measuring, waiting, humans would return to building, to living, to hoping. But if needed, they would stand again. Because humanity was never about conquest. It was about endurance. And somewhere in deep space, the lesson remained. Written not in ink, but in fire. Never corner a human.